Hey, what's up guys, Rami here and welcome back to another video. And in today's video I will be telling you about my day-to-day experience for the past 30 days using the OnePlus 6T. And quickly to sum it up, I'm just gonna start off by saying this is probably the best phone ever for its value on the market. Anyway, without further ado, let's get straight into it. So just like I said in my unboxing, the thing that wows me the most when it comes to OnePlus is their price tags. Just because they sell these incredible phones with these flagship features and more features just for £500. And I still find it hard to wrap my head around that. But yeah, I just want you guys to bear that in mind as I go through with the video. And by the way, I'm not going to go through a list of specs and all that since I already went through with that in my unboxing, link down below. So yeah, just also keep that in mind. So just holding the phone in my hand feels good. The build quality is great, it's at the expectation of what a flagship phone should be in 2019. So there's nothing wrong there. But speaking about the build, something that I just wanted to throw out there is the fact that this phone doesn't have a headphone jack, which is kind of surprising from OnePlus, but it's how they decided to go. Apparently it was for a bigger battery, and we'll get into the battery later, but I'm telling you, it's pretty good. Now for me, the loss of a headphone jack wasn't the slightest problem since I changed to wireless earphones and headphones quite a while ago. So I'm not complaining here for me, but it's just something that you should keep in mind if you're thinking of buying this phone, because I know it can be a problem for certain people. The display, however, is still really good. It's an AMOLED display and it's just a joy to look at. Yes, it's 1080 and honestly I didn't feel like it was bad, especially compared to the 720p iPhone XR, which is £250 more at 64GB rather than 128 gigs. Just saying. Though the display was good, it wasn't incredibly bright. So sometimes when I went outside, it was a bit hard to see the screen properly in full daylight. So before I moved to the OnePlus, I was actually using an iPhone 6. Yeah. So sizing wise, at first was a massive change. I kind of felt like I was gonna drop the phone a lot from time to time when I was holding it, but I did get used to it pretty quickly. And I also used some settings in the phone to adjust it to one-handed use, just making it easier on myself instead of reaching all the way to the top and those sort of things. It does help when it comes to software as well. Anyway, unless your hands are tiny, then this isn't going to be a problem for you adjusting from a small phone to a phone like this. Now for the performance. So performance for a lot of people, more specifically gamers and pro users, is extremely important. And well, it's fast. Zero lag, super smooth in general use, all apps open quickly within a second, and it's as fast as a flagship phone should be. And when it comes to gaming, there isn't really a problem. It's once again pretty smooth and handles the games well. It doesn't overheat and it's really good. But let's be realistic. If you are looking for a gaming smartphone, then I would go with the Razer phone. Trust me, that thing's a beast. So go check that out if you're about the gaming. But basically what I'm saying is if you're worried about the gaming experience in this phone, don't be. There's nothing wrong. Now for my favorite part of every review, the cameras. Look, I'm just gonna say this phone is incredible for the price tag, but they had to have compromised something to get that price tag, right? Right, and that was the cameras. Look, and I'm not saying they're terrible, okay? They could be better. They're not terrible, but they could be better. So having a look at some of the photos over here. So here is the photo from the standard lens, and as you can see, it's actually pretty well on colors, pretty accurate. It's a bit overexposed on the window, and it's actually kind of like good quality. The quality is decent, so it's not bad. Here's a telephoto lens. I think it looks a little bit washed out, but other than that, it's alright. And here's portrait mode. As you can see, the edge detection is incredible here, but I think a lot of smartphones would struggle with that, but that it's decent. Here's another portrait mode shot. As you can see, there's lots of colors here, and I think it's really well saturated. Nothing's overexposed, and the edge detection is pretty good. Now here is a kind of a landscape photo, and I think this is really good. I think it's a bit over sharpened, but other than that, it was really good. I think it handled the sun alright. It could have been better, but it wasn't terrible. Here is another photo, and this one I definitely think is a bit over sharpened, but the colors are once again are on point, and that's good. And I think this is a bit overexposed at the sky. Same complaints as before, over sharpened, same good things, colors are great. Now here's another photo, and something I want to say here was the dynamic range in this photo was really good. And this was a photo I also posted on my Instagram actually, and this also has incredible dynamic range, but the quality seemed kind of off. Here's a picture of a Google Home Mini with the telephoto lens, and I think it had great detail, and I think this is a really good picture in general. Great colors as well. Now here is a picture using the dark mode, the night mode, and I think it was decent. Nothing's like, the quality is great, everything's good. Here is, I think it's a little bit overexposed on the elephant, and it wasn't super sharp on the elephant's nose. That could have been better. Here's a picture without night mode, and this is a picture with night mode, and definitely if you just give the night mode version some color correcting like this, you can make it look even better as well. So night mode is definitely really good there. So here's some 4K footage straight out the telephoto lens here, and honestly I think it's not so great. It's not really keeping its settings, and it changes depending on the lighting really unnaturally. It's overexposed towards some ends of the sky, and autofocus kind of goes on and off. The stabilization isn't so great based on that walk and run there. Definitely not a big fan of the camera there. Here is just another video. I think the colors are really washed out, and the exposure keeps changing. Here is a slow-mo of 240 frames per second at 1080, and in terms of slow-mo this is good, but in terms of everything else it's not so good. It's completely overexposed towards the sky, the colors are really washed out, and it's not super sharp. Now here I want to show some autofocus, and I had a lot of trouble trying to get this thing to focus on the Galaxy. It focused there for a millisecond and then unfocused for some reason, and there you go, it did that again, which is, it's really weird. And then it does this weird thing, and I think that was the shadow from when a car passed by, but I don't know. So here is a picture from the selfie camera. This is how it handles the exposure. It's kind of decent, it's pretty sharp. I've always thought the front cameras were really sharp. And then here is the portrait mode, and I think the edge detection was not bad. I think it went off a little bit in my ears there, but other than that it was a good photo. And personally I really like the selfie camera on this phone when it comes to taking pictures, because I think it's really sharp. So if you're into vlogging, then the front-facing camera on this thing is actually pretty decent. It also crops in, so when I'm walking, the stabilization actually seems really good, I think, based on what I've seen. The microphone quality, I think, is also pretty good. So yeah, tell me what you guys think about that. So when it comes to watching content, the screen is obviously really important, but another feature that does make a big difference is audio, more specifically the speakers. Now, I'm someone who doesn't really care about audio that much. As long as it's not bad and doesn't have any distortion or any of that bad speaker stuff, then I'm absolutely fine. So I'm not complaining with the speakers. But if you're really into audio, then this is just your average smartphone speaker, nothing else. It's kind of loud and not super loud, so when you're in a loud environment where there's a lot of noise, then this may be a little bit harder to hear. But if you are looking for a phone with some hardcore speakers, then I would probably recommend again the Razer phone, because the speakers in that thing are incredible, and the latest Google Pixels, they seem pretty good. In general, there wasn't really much that stuck out to me as bad with this phone. The fact that there isn't a headphone jack wasn't a problem for me at all. The camera was okay, though I do look forward to moving on to a different phone for a better camera. But something that really did bug me was the lack of wireless charging. A lot of my setups and my bedroom are based on wireless charging as being the main charging source, and well, I can't use that with the OnePlus, and that was just something that was annoying, because I'm used to just walking in, laying down my phone on the charger and get on with what I want to do. So that was kind of annoying, but they do kind of pay back for it with their extremely fast charging. So using their USB-C cable and adapter, when you charge it in, it charges to 60% within 35 minutes, which it's super fast, meaning it charges to like 30% in like 17 minutes or so. So it's really fast at charging, and every minute you're getting well over 1%.
Quick math.
So that is really good, and there have been many times where I've been in a rush where I had to leave in like 10 minutes, and an extra 10% would have saved my day, and that's what it did with the cable, because with those 10 minutes I got like 13% more, so that was just really good. Another new thing with this phone when it first came out was the optical fingerprint sensor, which was really cool. It's super cool when I'm showing off the phone to my friends and I show this in-screen fingerprint, and it being one of the first phones to have it, it was great. The way it works is it shines a light into your finger, and then a tiny camera inside sees your finger, and whether it's correct or not, it lets you unlock the phone. And two sort of complaints here. A, this only works around 80% of the time. The other 20%, not so much. Sometimes I'm not pressing hard enough, sometimes my finger's not flat in the screen and not covering the whole surface, and it's a little bit fiddly, and it's really annoying sometimes because it does ruin the flow of things. Something that's also extremely annoying is the light. Remember I said it has to shine a light onto your finger to be able to see it? Well, say you're in bed and you wake up, which is what happened to me, and first thing in the morning, whatever, you're looking at your phone and you want to unlock it. Place your finger in the sensor, forgetting about anything, and it shines this super bright light into your face. When I heard other people say that this was an issue, I thought that they were just nitpicking, but honestly it is a small thing, but it is annoying. If you don't want to use the fingerprint though, they do have 2D facial recognition, which I did use for a period of time, and I'm telling you, it is super fast, but I don't recommend it. And this is because 2D facial recognition scanners aren't nowhere near as secure as 3D facial recognition, just because obviously it's 2D and it can probably be fooled by a picture. And I'm not saying I tried fooling the OnePlus 6T, so I can't give you my full-on experience of trying to fool it, but I know for a fact it's nowhere near as secure, and it will definitely easily be tricked if someone tries to. So it is an option, it is super fast. If you're not too worried about your security, then I would go with that. Now, like I mentioned in the unboxing, this phone has a pretty good sized battery, and like I mentioned before, they said they removed the headphone jack for a very good battery, and it is really good. It's a 3700 mAh battery, like I said in the unboxing, and it lasts a good 5 to 6 hours daily. Sometimes it even gets around 7 hours, and that happened on like 1 or 2 occasions, but it's still capable of doing that, and that's what's really cool. This is like a 2-day battery phone if you're not using your phone a lot during the day, so this is really good. Though I do still kind of think that they could have kept the headphone jack in there for that battery, but considering the price tag, I can't really say much. Now, not a lot of people care about this, but I for one do, and that's the aesthetics. I thought this was a decent looking phone. The back was super sexy and very reflective, but just like any phone in 2019, it is a fingerprint magnet, and this is something that I don't like. And it's nothing that I'm really blaming OnePlus for, because you know, physics is physics, so what are you gonna do? But it's just a small thing that does really annoy me, and I'm telling you this out of my personal experience. I always carry around a microfiber cloth with me just to clean the back and the front, because it's something that really irritates me. But OnePlus do have like a matte glass finish, which is really cool, so that does kind of solve the problem. But if you're getting the reflective one, I would probably go with the matte one if I were you. And for the teardrop notch, I'm somebody who hates notches. They look like the phone fell down, got a cut, and then the cut got all swollen out of nowhere, and now there's this big black bulge coming out. It's like, where did you come from? No one wants you here. But I've got to say, out of all the notches, I do prefer the teardrop notch overall. It's smallest, it's the least distracting. I know that notches are distracting in general, but it's just mainly about aesthetics for me. But I do love the new punch hole in the Galaxy S10. So yeah, that's my view on the notch. Anyway, if you're on a kind of budget, not saying that it's extremely cheap, but it's definitely way below the standard flagship price, and you're looking to buy this phone, then I say do it. It's probably the best phone ever for its value on the market, and it does everything you need it to do and some more extra cool things. The software is great, but I use Nova Launcher anyway, so that's not really a thing for me, but it's very straightforward. It looks good. They have a really cool dark mode. OnePlus just nailed it in pretty much every aspect of creating this phone for their price tag. But if you are willing to spend maybe a little bit over £100 more on a different phone, then the competition would probably be the Galaxy S10e. So go check that out if I were you. Anyway, that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe to see more videos like this one. If you didn't, then you know what to do. Go follow me on my Instagram and Twitter at El-Naggar to stay up to date with everything in the channel. And go check out my newest website, El-Naggar.com, and maybe subscribe on there, you know, because why not? Hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you next time.